Here we go. This is it. Episode number 169. NoLaughTrack podcast. My name is Justin Severson, the host. Thank you very much for listening, streaming, downloading. If you haven't yet, you liked last week. That's why you're here this week. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Please. Thank you, Circle of Heat, for letting us play their music. As always, back for a third time.
Hello.
Episode 4, episode 62, and now 169.
169.
It's Sean Patton, dude.
Wait, I probably have said this every time, but I'm going to say it again because tradition is why we all exist. You have the most Minnesota name.
Mm-hmm.
I forget the Severson part.
Yeah, thank you.
Justin Severson.
Mm-hmm.
Just right there. That's your superpower would be you could turn into a hot dish. I could turn into a hot dish.
It's funny. It's funny you say that, Sean, because I don't cook, and neither does my fiance.
Okay.
Very rarely.
I could turn into a walleye right now.
Well, I stopped at the grocery store on the way home from the podcast last Wednesday, and I was really hungry for a big dinner. And I was like, well, I don't cook, but I know the one thing that Ashley makes.
Walleye?
No, tater tot hot dish.
So what is a tater tot hot dish? It's tater tots, just a bunch of meat, I imagine. Some cheese,
beef.
Obviously. We're in the Midwest. Some cheese.
Yeah, on top.
Vegetables? Is the tater tot already double as the vegetable? But yeah, I've been trying to eat healthier. Walleye. Speaking of that, fish. We're trying to eat a lot more fish, even though I'm terrified of mercury poisoning.
Yeah,
but you have to eat a lot of goddamn fish. You have to basically only eat fish every day for 2 years.
Sardines.
Love sardines.
Really?
Oh, love sardines. Is that it? Why? Do you love sardines?
I did as a kid, and now I no.
Sardine sandwiches, man.
I did as a kid. I had an uncle.
Oh.
I had an uncle, sardine uncle. He would always have him around. Come on,
uncle.
Justin, try one of these with me.
Just always have
Yes.
a can of sardine.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'm not like a hobo on a train. I don't like love
Neither
them.
was my uncle.
Yeah, but if I were gonna be homeless, I would want to be a train hobo eating sardines and singing songs
and baked beans, which are good cold.
Yeah, man. But also, that's the problem.
Full of salt, right?
No, look on the ingredients on that
High
can.
fructose corn syrup.
Oh yeah.
In my
especially in those good like sweet baked beans.
Home style.
Oh God.
Yeah.
You can make baked beans up. It's not hard. You actually have to bake them. I'm saying you actually have to. You actually do have to bake them, but you learn little recipes like that, and you realize, man, it's also kind of fun chopping up Brussels sprouts and mushrooms. There's so many delicious mushrooms.
We just got a new knife set too. I should be more into it.
Yeah, it's fun. And it's a good time. Because you told me, do your listeners know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
About your congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
That's a good time to hammer out some relationship issues or just have good relationship fun or good, while you're chopping vegetables. Jesus Christ, listen to me. I'm having like Martha Stewart Tourette's. It's a good time. That's not how she talks.
That actually was kind of close.
I feel like 2 times ago I was on this podcast. I was like, yeah, man, women should sit on your face. That's how you do it. And
yeah. People should, if they have never heard your episode 4. You told the story of the blowing smoke rings. Wasn't that part of it?
What?
The guy wrote you a check.
Jesus Christ! Yeah, I did tell that story.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, crackheads. You never know.
One of the best stories ever.
Undercover crackheads. Oh, thank you.
Anyways, Martha, back to your story.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like now, good relationship time as well. Cutting up some criminy mushrooms for a nice stir fry. But yeah, it's good. I guess maybe I'm an adult now and I don't care about. Or maybe you never really did. Part of me thinks that everything that we consider adult, we would have all been into at 18
if we would have known about it.
We were just told, nah, that's adult stuff. You want to be, who cares, video games and staying out all night and fuck fuck responsibility. But then, like, you actually get into some responsibility, and you're like, this isn't bad at all. I enjoy taking care of business.
Yeah.
And it's kind of fun.
Oh, I see when people used to when Facebook was full of people posting pictures of what they made for dinner. I'd roll my eyes. I don't give a. But when you do actually take that time, I'm fucking proud.
Yeah, you're proud.
Even if because I've taken small steps, like you put a pot roast, in the slow cooker all day.
Yeah.
And then put some barbecue sauce on it. Is that cooking? Yeah, I guess. I didn't do too much work, but when I'm standing there eating it, I'm fucking proud.
Yeah, man.
Damn proud.
Ingredients going into a thing.
Uh-huh.
That is cooking.
Uh-huh.
I think that is actually a definition. If you put the thing into a cooking thing.
There was a recipe. If there's a recipe involved.
Right. If you have to wash your hands before because you will touch some sort of thing that you eat, that's cooking. You're cooking.
By the way, just to wrap up the, because I need to get this out there. People are going to go crazy. Minnesotans will listen to this.
What?
The main ingredient, one of the main ingredients for the tater tot hot dish.
Oh, shit, go.
Is cream of mushroom soup.
Oh.
Yeah. You can't make it without that. Cream of mushroom.
Tell you, mushrooms are something I got into real hard this past year. So the idea of a cream of mushroom soup. However, if any of your listeners are readers of Tom Robbins, you read Tom Robbins? Very, very, very creative, very good author. Wrote such books as Jitterbug Perfume. It's my favorite. There's one called My Still Life with Woodpecker.
Okay.
Where it'll change your mind a little bit about cream of mushroom soup, but maybe not in the best way.
Oh, okay. All right.
For a minute, and you're like, oh, dang. But then you get over it. Then time passes. That's the book I was reading when Hurricane Katrina hit.
Oh, okay.
My Still Life with Woodpecker.
You'll never forget it, obviously.
It's an excellent book. The guy's a very dirty but high-end, highbrow filth.
Okay.
Not porn, but like all of his books contain some huge sexual arc.
All right.
And he gets real descriptive, but it's very thought out. Very Tom Robbins, excellent author. No, it's not called My Still Life with Woodpecker. It's called just Still Life with Woodpecker. I'm thinking of My So-Called Life, a show I was not watching when Katrina hit, but I was probably watching when Hurricane Andrew hit in the 90s.
Yeah. Just assume you were.
Yeah.
It was always on.
Right.
It was always on whatever TV you were in
Yeah. But
I caught up with a few episodes of Best Bars in America.
Oh yeah, man.
This week.
Yeah.
I love that show.
Yeah. Well, it's over.
Sons of Bitches.
Well, it was actually Jay and I's decision more so.
Ran out of good bars.
No, a lot of people, because there were so many cities we didn't go to. We didn't go to Denver, which we really pushed to go to Denver. We wanted to go to Denver bad, but we didn't. We went to L.A. again. We wanted to go to Seattle. We didn't go to Seattle. We wanted to go to Atlanta. We wanted to go anywhere else on the East Coast because we'd been in New York and Boston, but there's also Philly. We went to D.C., but we wanted to go to like the Carolinas, Savannah.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't go to Florida, and we didn't want to. So that was good. We wanted to go back to New Orleans. We wanted to go. There were so many places. We did Chicago twice, which is good because I think personally, and I'm a New Orleanian,
right.
New Orleans and Chicago are the two best drinking cities in the country, if you ask me so far. And I
look at you not sucking up to Minneapolis.
Yeah. No, I love Minneapolis, but Minneapolis, you know what actually I loved about Minneapolis was...
Because you did an episode from here.
We did, and there was two of my favorite spots were here. Psycho Susie's.
Mm-hmm.
That place was fucking bananas, dude. Like, everything about that place was fun as hell.
Mm-hmm.
They have a boat.
Yeah.
They'll take you out on a goddamn pontoon boat. But, Psycho Susie's, and there was a place it's right next door to Psycho Susie's. I can't even recall what it's called right now because I was hammered. That's a funny part. People hit me up online or in person like, where was your favorite spot to go to? And I'm like, did you see the show? We're really drunk.
Yeah.
But the place, it's right across the park from Psycho Susie's. It's where we ate Pighead. That spot was excellent. But what I liked, I like, Minnesota is one of my favorite cities in America. It has nothing to do with the bar scene here, which is very strong. It's just like, Minnesota is one of these cities where everything that you people move to cities for, in the hip cities, and I hate fucking using the word hip, but anything that's in Portland or in Austin or in New York or LA even, you can find in Minneapolis. This is a very artistic, very creative-minded, progressive-minded, open-minded, fun-loving city, but it's just a tundra 8 months out of the year, so it doesn't get all this, like, quote-unquote heat.
Right.
No pun intended. But, which is why it's great, because it remains this, like, secret, like, no one ever, Minneapolis just kind of flies under the radar of, like, excellent cities to live in, and I think that's what keeps it great, is because you don't have this goddamn influx of just shithead yuppies who still want to feel awesome and young when they don't realize that's just a state of mind. You don't have to move into the suburbs. You don't have to move to a condo in the suburbs. You can still live in whatever city you're living in and enjoy your life. No, you're going to all flock to Austin. Or Austin is a great city, but in about 5 years it's going to collapse on itself. It's just growing too fast, and it doesn't have the infrastructure. And you don't want that here. Because here, at their base levels, Minneapolis is a far more interesting city than Austin. Austin's a cool place, but it's all about the music there, and it's all about the music scene, and it's in Texas. Whereas here, it's like, you got music, but you've also got theater. You've also got...
I wonder if there's one person listening that just was like, why the fuck is he ripping on Austin, Minnesota? They had nothing to do with
I didn't know there was an Austin,
Yeah,
Minnesota.
there is.
I mean, dude, like one of the great, there was a great fucking hip-hop movement that came out of Minnesota.
Oh, hell yeah.
The backpacker hip-hop movement, fucking Atmosphere.
Yeah, damn right.
The big Atmosphere. Sage Francis. I don't know if he was actually from here, but
I guilted a kid once out of a ticket to Atmosphere outside First Avenue. The show was sold out.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to pay more than face value. And everybody was, scalping. And I told the guy, I said, do you think Slug, the lead guy, I said, do you think Slug would appreciate you making extra money off his tickets, or would he just want another fan in there? Oh, you're right, man.
Oh, man.
I couldn't believe it worked.
That's how you can't fucking guilt backpacker fans. Like, oh, shit, you're right. That's why we're backpacking. We're not about the money. Yeah, dude, rhyme sayers. But was A$AP Rock
I know who that is.
Not A$AP Rocky. Not that guy. Yeah,
I know, yeah.
I'm trying. A$AP Rock, I don't know if he is. I don't know if. I know he lives in Portland now, but I think he was originally part of that rhyme sayers.
I was on the label.
He was. Yeah.
I knew a guy that worked there, and he used to send me CDs, so I got some A$AP Rock.
His
album,
Labor Days, is still one of my favorite. I think it's a fucking masterpiece.
Yeah,
it's such a great album, start to finish. And I'm really bummed because that dude, like that guy's like my age, maybe older, maybe he might be 40, and he just because that album came out in 2002, maybe. That I'm talking about, Labor Days. Anyway, I just wish he was still doing more live touring, and I just wish he was doing more stuff.
And it is confusing that there's now a guy
there's now a fucking guy named A$AP Rocky who sucks. He's a shit rapper. He just hooks himself up with great rappers.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, he just has a lot of... I mean, my favorite MC right now is Kendrick Lamar, of like the young crop. Like, I think he's just undeniable. Like, I think he's just excellent start to finish, and he did an A$AP Rocky song a couple years ago, and it blew up. Fuck A$AP Rocky. Also, where's your artistic integrity? Like, if you're coming up with this name and you see that there's someone whose name is you know what I'm saying?
The same thing.
2 letters off.
Basically.
Who's been around, who's established.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't the artist in you want to go, no, I need to stand out.
Right.
I probably didn't think of this. And no, I'm just going to do it. It's like, no, you want to change your name and stand out. Anyway, I don't want to start a fucking hip-hop beef with your podcast.
All right, now your turn. Retaliate, motherfucker.
Yeah, I think Minneapolis is a excellent city, but New Orleans and Chicago, like New York, bars close at 4, but there's so many fucking bars, and there's so much to do in New York, and it's great. But Chicago has way more of a drinking culture. Like, New York, you'll go to 8 bars in a row that are like the same goddamn bar over and over again. Whereas in Chicago, it really does feel like every bar you go to is unique and different and has a story.
Yeah.
And there's character to it. And it will close anywhere from 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. depending on what kind of license they have.
Yeah.
So, like, they love to drink in that city. New Orleans, the same thing. Bars don't close and it's all full of very unique character.
Yeah.
So that's why I think Chicago and New Orleans are the two. Like, if you just want to go somewhere and just get plowed for a weekend or a week straight and just by yourself or with another friend, if you just want to go bar hopping for a week, go to New York or Chicago.
Yeah, I was lucky enough.
I'm sorry, New Orleans or Chicago.
There you go. I was lucky enough to drink when I was, at my prime drinking age, my early 20s, of spending some time in Chicago. And, like, drinking, like you said, until 5 a.m. I was at some blues bar, Kingston Mines.
Kingston Mines.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's 100% what it is.
Or is that a reggae bar?
No, Kingston Mines is it's one side, it's a two-sided bar.
Yes!
Where they just switch.
Yes.
That's Kingston Mines.
Yes,
yeah.
I drank there once till about 5 in the morning.
Do you know who the Alabama Shakes are?
Yes.
So she's awesome, Brittany. I swear to God, her mother. If it's not her real mother, it's her.
Oh,
is
performing there.
Is one of the was a performer I saw. That was an old, very old, probably a woman in her 50s, but in a nightgown, and just not giving a fuck.
Yeah.
But just up there shredding, just tearing it down. And it was beautiful. It was beautiful. But yeah, Jay and I, we quit the show.
You quit the show.
We basically it was like, we're not going to do a season 3. Everyone would come up and say things. Everyone says things like, it's a dream job. Oh, that's the best job. Oh, how would you not want that job? And because it became a job. And because it wasn't fun. Like, if it was documentary style, where we just walked into the bar and the cameras were rolling and they just captured what they could and we really got into it. Like, that's why Anthony Bourdain's show is so good. If you watch any of his, I haven't seen the second one, but No Reservations, he tells his camera crew, like, don't interrupt, but get as much as you can, but don't interrupt. We're not going to repeat. We're not going to ask people to say things again or do things twice. Just shoot it, and we'll make it up in editing. We'll make it up in post. And if you notice, that's why there's all that narration in that show, because a lot of times you'll notice even on the show, it's like, oh, we didn't see it happen, but here's the birth of the baby lobster that we're going to eat. Or the Komodo dragon fetus. We are now dining on, Yeah. But in best bars, which is how a lot of unscripted TV works, it was just a lot of you walk into a bar, oh, there's just magically 2 seats available, or did this producer spend a fucking hour figuring that out with the lighting guy? That's what happened.
Right.
And we're sitting down, and then it's like, oh, we got to do it again because my hair looked weird. Or, oh no, Jay and Sean got to switch because Sean's beard's too dark and it's absorbing the light. Or,
oh boy.
Oh, Jay, can you say that again? Oh, Jay, can you say that one more time? Oh, Jay, just repeat that. And we're doing it and a lot of times, or the bartender, like, hey, bartender, come back in, give them the drinks. But remember, Sean's drinking the beer, Jay's drinking. And like, the bar staff that we're working with, they're not actors.
Right.
So after you make them do it once, they're coming back in now all like, whoa, did I say that right? Or the enthusiasm's gone, and then we're trying to make up for it. And it was a lot of just stop, start, and dealing with drunk assholes walking up and trying to get in the frame. And then we're drunk now, so we're not holding back. And we're just like, get this fucking guy away from me. Hey, dude, do you mind? And then, excuse me, sir. Yeah, we get you, man. We're trying to do our job right now.
Yeah.
And the producers are idiots who can't fucking... unscripted reality TV is the worst.
Wow.
The worst thing to do.
I didn't know I'd get this reaction in.
Yeah, man. It wasn't fun. It wasn't fun. It was a lot of just like... There's an old joke. It's a... unscripted reality TV producer and a camera crew walk into a bar. Stop. Start over. Camera wasn't rolling. An unscripted reality TV producer and a camera crew walk into a bar and cut. Stop. Can we do that one again for sound? And also start the joke faster. Go. Oh, a reality TV script producer and cut. You messed up you said reality script producer when you say reality. There it is.
Yeah.
But that's it. It's just which makes sense if you're shooting a fucking movie or a TV show.
Right.
Obviously, you go into it knowing you're going to do that. And everyone around you's an actor. a professional performer. But when you're doing it in a reality situation and you're all about trying to capture the magic of the moment and you have to keep fucking stopping because these dumb fuck producers all wish they were filmmakers. They all wish they were filmmakers, but they're not. They never had the balls to try. So they're trying to manipulate reality now when they don't realize that you manipulate it in post. You manipulate it in the editing room. You let it fucking happen in reality. And no, you maybe can't see what it's going to be right there. That's why it's called editing.
What did these guys work on before that?
They created Top Chef.
Okay.
So everything was done like Top Chef style.
Okay.
In that dramatic format. Now, Esquire, the network, great people.
Okay.
Every single person involved in the Esquire network, I wish them all the best. Like, they're really trying to do something unique. It was the production company that they hired to do breast bars, whose name I won't say out of professionalism, but they're called Magical Elves, out of sheer fucking realism. They just didn't get what this show could have been. This show could have been the best fucking show on TV. We had comedian guests. We had Aisha Tyler, Kyle Kinane, Rory Scovel, Al Madrigal, James Adomian, Bill fucking Burr. I can't think of the rest, but we had Mike Costa.
Yep. I just watched that one. Detroit.
What's the fucking kid's name from the show Undateable? Brent Morin. Did I say Bill Burr?
Mm-hmm.
Did I say the fucking master Bill Burr? Like, we had Bill fucking Burr.
Yeah.
You know, and like it should have been so much better. But every time we had a comedian guest on, we would just be going and yapping and making each other laugh and just having fun. And inevitably, one of the shithead producers would step in and be like, all right, but you guys, you got to make this more about the bar. You got to talk more about the bar. Can you ask Kyle Kinane what he thinks like about the wood? Because the wood's made out of, it's really interesting. It's old firewood from a camping lodge that the owner's father owned. So and that's very interesting. So can you ask Kyle about that? Maybe ask if his father ever owned, you know, like, no! How about Kyle continues telling this fucking story about the time he had to outdrink a Crip in Chicago or he was going to die?
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't think Kyle has that story, but he has stories of that magnitude. And they didn't get that, like, no, it didn't have to be about the bar. It had to be about us enjoying ourselves in the bar, which is all people need to see. And then they go, oh, those guys had a fucking fun time at that one bar in L.A. We should go there if we ever go to L.A. where Kyle Kinane and Sean and Jay were drinking.
Yeah.
And they just fucked that up every time. Oh, it made me so... Like, for example, when we had Bill Burr, we were at a stupid tequila bar, and, we're drinking the tequila, and Bill's there, but they just send him in late to make it look like he just showed up.
Look who's here!
So Bill walks in, and he's like, Bill, get a drink. And he's like, I don't really like tequila. You got a scotch? And we immediately fucking fall out laughing, as does the bartender / owner. She's like, ha, ha, ha. And they're like, wait, cut. No, Bill.
No.
Could we get you to drink a tequila, though? Because it's a tequila bar. And then the bar owner, she's like, oh, no, actually, scotch is, I do have a good scotch collection. And she pulls out like a Macallan 12 and like a Lafroig 10-year, which is my favorite scotch, even though it's not the fanciest. And then like Johnny Walker Blue, and she's like, I've got this good scotch selection. It's the only other. I don't mind serving him a scotch. And they're like, well, but it's a tequila bar. She's like, it's fine though.
Who cares?
Exactly. And then we finally get him a fucking scotch. And then we're just having stories with Bill Burr. And they keep fucking cutting in, being like, Bill, can you talk about the atmosphere? And like, so they wanted everything to be travel loggy, which is not what they told us. When they offered us this show, which it was their idea, and then they cast Jay, and then they cast me.
Okay.
But they told us, we were like, it's not going to be a travel log. It's going to be you guys having fun at bars and then talking to the people. And then and we want you to have your comedian guests on because we wanted you guys to be funny, but we also want the guests to be funny. And it was just like, well, Nate Bargatze. One of the best fucking comedians on the planet. We had him in D.C., and they only let us have him for one bar. And so he's on for like half an hour because they fucked up the schedule. They're like, we got to get to the next 2 bars. And I was like, let's just take Nate with us, man. Jay and Nate and I are friends. We've all known each other for like 8 years.
Yeah.
We can talk this out and just drink and have fun. No, you're right. We only had half an hour for Nate, who is a fucking wonder kid.
Yeah.
Never mind. Bye, hilarious comedian. We gotta get to this bourbon infusing raspberry drink spot. It's a bourbon infusing raspberry drink that they make. That doesn't even make sense. But we got to get to this place where they serve beer super cold. And oh my God, I don't want to be an asshole, but I'm gonna. I know it just shut down, but it was called not Nays Polonaise.
Nice
Polonaise. Yeah, that place. Mm-hmm. It just shut down, right?
If they haven't closed the doors, it is. But yeah,
right. And who gives a fuck? Like, who gives a shit about that fucking place? I'm not trying to be an asshole, but like, come on. It's an old Polish restaurant with a shit dive bar next to it they play polka.
Yeah.
It's not that fucking interesting to me. Psycho Susie's, a giant tiki bar where they'll take you out on a pontoon boat.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Uh-huh.
Oh, an old polka spot where you can eat garbage pierogies and hang out and listen to music that no one truly gives a shit about. I know I'm saying that in Minnesota, but I don't show me 25 polka fans, and I'll show you 20 people who thought you were talking about a card game. All right, but we go to this fucking place, and the producers, they always go in and prep the place for about an hour before.
Sure,
and they're like, "Oh, the bartender, you guys are gonna love him." So we want you to just focus and talk to him.
Yeah, the old guy.
The old guy. So we're like, okay. Did that make the episode? I never saw it.
I don't know.
Yeah. But we go, and it's not like this guy was boring. He was just an old, we were just like, all right, so how long you been working here? And he's like, about 18 years. And then that's it. And we're like, okay, cool. So, I mean, as a bartender, do you like just pouring beer? Do you enjoy making a cocktail? He's like, it's whatever the customer wants. It's like, okay. So what, you ever see anything crazy in here? I mean, this bar's been here a while. It's a old school bar. You see nuts? Nope, nothing that crazy. Just like, and he's not being an asshole. He's just a friendly old man.
Yeah, right.
But he's not a TV personality. No. So then it got to the point where we were just like, so what's your shoe size? 10.5. Just because we knew 10.5 regular. We're asking him questions like, so Ford or Chevy?
Right.
And he's like, I drive a Toyota. We're just like, and we're looking at the producers like, can we end this now?
Keep asking me questions, I'll answer, but I won't give you anything.
Right. And it was no offense to that guy. I hope nobody listens to this. It's like, that's my uncle. Like, he was a sweet, honest man.
Sure.
It's just he's not a TV personality. Yeah. But the producers are fucking stupid. So they're like, oh, he's so nice, though. That'd be great for TV. Ugh. And there was nothing interesting about that bar. I'm sorry. It just wasn't interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It was just but they, since they're dipshit producers, walk in and go, oh, wow, polka. That's different. Let's get that. And it's like, different doesn't always mean fucking interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right? God damn it. American cheese is different from cheddar, but cheddar's far better.
Yes.
And it rhymes. And it's just a fucking, it was constantly that, where like they thought they were so interesting and had these great ideas. And they were all fucking garbage, and then they wouldn't let Jay and I run with anything after a while. And it just became this thing where it's like, this is not fun. This is torture.
Damn.
Every episode becomes more and more of a goddamn, like, hatred fest. And Jay and I got along the whole time, but even him and I had our moments.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were never anything bad, but we were just stressed out constantly. And, like, we're trying, and then, like, every time we had a guest on, we were like, all right, our friend. And every time it was like, there was moments of, like, you kind of catch eyes with them, and you're like, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I didn't know it was going to be this much of a pain. The only guy who had fun with it was Rory Scovel. but Rory's also a fucking prodigy. So like, at a certain point, you just can't stop him.
Okay.
You know. But it's just I don't know. And so we quit the show. And I'm happy that it happened, and it was fun, and it was 2 seasons, and I learned a lot, and I saw a lot, and sometimes people come out to shows because of it, and that's great. But if you're going to come out to a show and you like the show, like my stand-up first.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll talk to you about that world.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe then if I like you, we'll get into best bars. But the people who, like, corner me and are immediately like, oh, my God, we love the show. We've been to all these bars, and let me just tell you something. More bars. Here's bars you should have gone to. Are you going to go to these bars? It's like, don't do that. Let's not do that. I'll be nice to your face.
I got to take a deep breath after you just saying that to me.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get that still. Where I get emails from people. I get emails from, it's not that many, but it's been enough now, from people who work at bars in, Scranton, Pennsylvania, or, Pittsburgh, or like other cities we didn't go to. Just being like, here's all the things, man. You need to come see this bar. I've been to bars before where the owner recognizes me and then takes me on the tour of the bar. And at some point, I usually am just nice about it and just like, oh, cool. Well, thank you. But there's been so many times I want to be like, hey, man, this doesn't matter. It's not going to make the crew come here.
Yeah.
Like, I don't pick the bars. Neither does Jay. Esquire does. And we're not coming here, probably.
Yeah.
Because this is a bar.
You're more bar rescue.
Right. Or I've had to tell people when I can tell they're starting to give me the pitch, I should be like, hey, man, I'm not involved with the show anymore. And then they immediately turn on me.
Aw.
Now I'm just another patron.
I'll take that drink from you right now.
I'll take back that silver card status.
Right.
I'll take back that platinum status. You can't just drink for free and bang my wife.
What else have you been doing in the last year?
Well, since I quit the show, I've been focusing a lot more on stand up, like, because I was, it wasn't like I couldn't perform much during when we were shooting, but I couldn't. I couldn't perform as much as I wanted to, and there was so much holding time, waiting to hear about seasons that so this year's been pretty much all about the performance.
Good.
Because I want to record. I'm doing 2 things actually. I'm going to record an album and shoot a special in the next 6 months.
Nice.
Only because I've stockpiled all this material, which is hard, but I do have a lot of it, and it only about an hour of it's going to go on when I shoot a special.
Yeah.
And so that leaves about there's more that I know is not going to make it on the special, but is also ready to get out there. So I'm going to record a separate album. So it's different material and just get them both out there.
Do you have places picked to record those?
I don't actually. Yeah, I know, right? I don't. This is a place where people love to perform and record.
Yeah.
So we'll see. And I don't know where I'm going to shoot the hour either. But I don't know where I'm going to shoot the hour. But basically, I just want to. I want to get out. I want to put out, because I've only got the one album out there, and I did the half hour for Comedy Central, and a handful of TV spots. But I feel like any comedian like me who's just going to do this for life, you evolve so much that you want to constantly be putting out the freshest version of you, and I haven't done that in a while.
Yeah.
So I want to do that.
No, you just said I'm doing this for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that you always strive for, or is that something that's hit you in the last 5 years?
Oh, no. I've always strived for that. I mean, I knew early on, I wanted, this was never going to I was never going to not do stand-up.
Yeah.
I knew that. Yes, I love doing acting stuff, and there's things I'm trying to make happen in the acting world right now. But to me, that's a side version of me. That's the actor version. The stand-up me will always be me doing it. And that's the truth. I mean, I know, there are a lot of people who they get the acting work, and before you know it, a few months go by and they haven't done any sets, and then suddenly it's a couple of years, and then they're just sort of out of it for a while, and then they do a comeback special 20 years later.
I remember having a conversation with Nick Swartzen. Yeah, I retired from comedy. I'm retired.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was 5 years ago, and he's done like 2 specials since then.
Yeah, exactly. Last time I saw Swartzen was here last year.
Yeah.
When because he did half the week. He did the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And
that was the week. Yeah.
And then I did the Friday, Saturday.
That's right.
And I remember before the late Saturday show out in the bar, he shows up drunk, and I was like, God damn it, he's going to fucking ask for a guest spot, and he's going to do 45 minutes of shit. And luckily he didn't.
Oh.
And then after my set, I go back out there, and he's still there, and he's fucking lit up. 7 sheets till Wednesday.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know if that's an expression. And I think he was trying to say that he liked my set or that he didn't. I couldn't tell. But I don't know if that's been out there and people are trying to hide it. But yeah, Nick Swartzen will drink alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
He will. He can put him down with the best of them.
Secret's out.
Brilliantly funny comedian.
Yeah.
Also, he's just as good at drinking as he is at comedy. He's real good at it. And I don't really know him personally though. But yeah, I mean, yeah, dude. Like, I feel like this is what I love the most, and this is the thing that like you don't need. Like with everything else, with television, with movies, you need to be cast. You need a producer. You need a fucking, a director. You need someone. You need other people to get involved. You need money. You need more and more and more money to do it. This is the one thing you don't. You just do, and you can just always do, and it's harder than everything else, but you can always do it. Because it's staying good and not just writing jokes to go down the middle, not pandering, writing shit that you care about and that you think's funny and that you hope that there's an audience out there for you.
Yeah. Do you have a destination for that, like the special? Like, do you want to sell it for $5 on your own site, $20, Netflix?
There is a possibility. Like, there are certain websites that are starting to stream now, like All Things Comedy, Magical and Burrs.
Yeah.
Like that, which, those guys are 2 of the best ever.
Mm-hmm.
They recently streamed Jackie Cations. Yeah. I think filmed it here.
Damn right.
Actually, yeah.
Yes.
And I love Jackie. She's one of the best.
Yep.
And they streamed hers, and I think they are interested in doing that more. And, that would be if I would love, like, I love those guys and I love what they do.
Yeah.
Not only just as comedians, but with that whole company, like they're like, it's about the comedians, man. Comedians to the fans, no middle people. There's also the Comedy Central option, of course. They haven't told me no. They haven't told me yes yet. And we're just in negotiations to maybe it'll happen with them.
Yeah. Which
would be nice. There's so many outlets now. It really is all about, like, that's something I've got to get better at. Is being able to communicate with just the people, through social media, because I'm a very shy person. I think most comedians are very shy. We got into this to be personal on stage and to, like, bleed it out in the performance.
Yeah.
But person to person, I'm very shy, I haven't made eye contact with you in 3 years now.
I'm over here.
But
give me a chance.
No, I want to. You want to find your audience. And that's not easy. But I think every comedian, you want to find your audience. And I'm looking at this audience now like there's an audience there. But you want to find your audience.
All these blank stares we're getting.
And the only way to really do that is to commit forever. And it's not commit. It's hard sometimes, and that's part of the beauty of it. And I don't know, man. It's like, this past year's been a real big awakening of like I need to, as good as I think I am, I need to get better.
Yeah.
And even when I think I'm at my best, I need to realize that there's better I can get. There's more to do. There's levels upon levels to go to get to.
Yeah, that's good. You're not the comic that is doing the same show for 4 years.
I will never peak. I will always be climbing.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, that's because why else?
Yeah.
Do
people come up to you and bring up your appearances on Marin? The TV show?
Yeah. People, I mean, it's two episodes hanging. There's a guy who, you know, you got to admire if he wasn't so fucking hellishly obsessed with his own insecure. I mean, like Mark Maron. I think Mark Maron's fucking hilarious, brilliant. His show's good, but there's someone right there who just can't accept success.
No,
just cannot. It can't. A great. I mean, we're on the set talking with the director, who was Bobcat fucking Goldthwait.
I've heard of him.
Yeah. Oh no, he wasn't directing that day. He was just there, but he was going to direct the next episode. I forgot who was directing that episode. But yeah, it's like the cast, and we're all talking about the next scene, and Mark just suddenly goes, "Fuck, damn it!" And we look at Mark, and he's on his phone, and he's like, "Why don't I have more followers than Babiglia?" And we're like, "Mark, who gives a shit, dude? We're on the set of your fucking TV show.
Yeah.
You've already got, what, 500,000, whatever it is? Like, stop it." No one said that to him because you're terrified. Mark's a terrifying, brooding presence. But, I mean, he's a sweetheart. He's a very nice dude. And like I said, I think he's a brilliant comedian. But something about, like, you don't want to become that, where you just can't accept that you've made it.
I love his podcast, but and literally only listen when I'm feeling down.
Yeah, just to sort of shake yourself out of it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Like, oh, here's another guy that's having trouble with something.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh, the President of the United States of America comes on your podcast? Yeah. That's insane. But it's also, I mean, it's like, yeah, Mark, you're the only guy. A lot of people can say they've been in the White House. You're the only guy who says the president's been to your house.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, that's Mark. But, I mean, yeah, like, people bring up Maron. But it's funny because people bring up Schumer a lot. And Amy Schumer's a wonderfully nice human being. And I think she's great.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful performer. Fucking brilliant comedian, really. And the show's great. I was only on one episode.
Yeah. And
I was only for like 4 lines. And she was nice enough to just give that part to me and let me sort of run with the lines. It was fucking... And Neil Brennan was the director of that episode.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, it was like they were both nice enough to be like, just, you know, here's the line, but just sort of do it your way. And in and out, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
It was great. And, but people always bring up, like, so you were on Amy's show? I was like, oh, you know, 1 episode, season 1, for probably 75 seconds, maybe 80 seconds. Yeah. You know?
You can start telling people that was the Emmy season.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, man, she's just a prime example of fucking how goddamn stupid and idiotic social media, the sycophant, how they praise her, and then there's one somewhat racial, not even racist joke she tells years ago, and people try and turn on her.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck you all.
Yeah.
Fuck you all. You cannot, you know what I'm saying? You cannot give your pioneer shit because they had to fucking draw their swords at some point. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like, how do you think they got to where they are?
Damn right.
You know? Like, yes, they got a little dirty to get fucking great. You gotta, you know, we all gotta get a little dirty to get to a certain point to become great. I hate that shit. I hate that digging up people's past.
You know, did you know that locally here, there's a lot of controversy about some names of the lakes because they may or may not have owned slaves?
Oh, well, that's okay. Then if that's the case, you're going to have to trace everything back to the beginning of history.
Right.
Like, so focusing on the past doesn't help. It's learning from it and changing it for the future. But what the fuck is changing the name of a goddamn lake going to do for those slaves, for example, if they were slave owners?
Yeah.
Is it going to, they could finally be free of their shackles in heaven? No, it doesn't work like that. Does it change, you know... Will sex slavery end? Who are you sending a message to?
Right.
Who's the message being sent to?
Right.
Just don't name another lake after a guy. Maybe do a little research next time you name a fucking lake. There's 10,000 of them. I'm sure there's at least 2 grand that haven't been named yet.
That's true.
I don't know. It's just, I don't, it's not, because here's the thing. If I believed that every internet, every publication or every time someone went after, if I believed it was all truly being done in the name of righteous human interaction, I'd be behind most of it. But it's not. All of it's done in the name of selfish, self-righteous, attention-wanting bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's doing it because they want to be the next voice. They want to be the next online sheriff of human interaction, and you're not going to be. And there's always going to be something that someone says or something that someone does that hurts another person's feelings. That's life, and it's necessary, because getting hurt is what makes you a stronger fucking individual, and we all need it on some level. And to try and stop it obviously isn't working.
No.
But to try and make each other stronger against it so that it no longer has any power when someone tries to hurt you, that's the play. The fact that we're not doing that sucks. But if you look at some of the strongest people, it's because they went through some of the shittiest shit.
Sure.
And they're not harping the whole, like, we all need to be nicer shit. They play the you need to be stronger card. And I'm not saying some fucking kid who was molested by 8 uncles needs to step it up. No, that's a case where you're like, no. You get a pass, bud.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk it out. Let's help you through this.
Yeah.
But the person who gets called a fucking, call someone I'm trying to think of the right fucking word. Someone who gets picked on in school.
Sissy.
No, look, dude, we all get called, and I don't want to upset your listeners, so we all get called a derogatory word for gay when you're not a jock.
Correct.
And not saying that word is fucking acceptable now, because that's not at all what I'm trying to say.
Right.
But what I'm trying to say is, instead of just constantly policing the world, looking for people who are going to say shit like that, making them more prone to say it now, it's about taking the individual and being like, these people don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
These people are fucking idiots that will one day probably you will step on. You will crush their stupid skulls walking like the king that you are. The reason they're going after you is because you're unique and you're individual and you're beautiful, and people are terrified of beautiful things. So don't mind them. That's what we need to be doing.
I am going to, honestly, I want to play, all these episodes are saved. I want to save this and play it back to my daughter. I have 2 daughters, and neither have really experienced that, I'm fearing when it happens of the, bullying.
It'll happen.
Coming home having a really hard time
Right.
with, the bratty kids at school.
Right.
Can I just play this for them? Your great pep talk.
Everything I just said?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like,
it's legit.
It's true, man. Like, you can't. I just feel like we're making this whole anti-bullying, like, yes, bullies suck, but they fucking. I mean, Bill Burr says this all way better than I do, but like, it's not. It's just like It's not just. Let's take out bullies. Let's talk about adults in society, like, to try and weed out. To try and just tell adults, like, you cannot speak this way, you have to think this way. It's like, now you're just making adults more prone to want to be fucking assholes. And they can now because they're adults, and you don't tell an adult what to do. But like, and I'm once again, I'm not defending anyone who uses any words. I'm not saying the guy, like Shady Petoskey, who is a friend of mine, who is a trans woman, who just live tweeted her getting tossed out of the Orlando airport.
Oh,
yesterday.
you know?
I know Shady. Yeah.
Really?
Personally. Yes.
Oh,
very well.
I was reading that story yesterday. She was on her way to Minneapolis.
Know her very well. Yeah. She is super fucking cool, and she actually last time I did Conan, and I was in New Orleans and I flew to L.A. She picked me up at the airport and drove me to the hotel in Burbank for no reason. She's cool. She's just a fucking cool person, man. And to get picked up at the airport in L.A. is a gift. Is someone basically being like, Merry Christmas.
Oh, okay.
Because it's a pain in the ass.
Okay.
It's fucking far from the city, and then you're going to be in traffic no matter what time of day it is. So that was cool. Yeah, she's a friend of mine. That's all completely unacceptable. That's just fucking idiot, ignorant, monstrous behavior.
For people that didn't hear.
On their behalf. I want to clear that up. Not
right.
Yeah. On the TSA. Yeah, they detained her because of the anomaly.
Anomaly. They used the word anomaly.
Yeah, and then tried to force her to go through as a man.
Yeah.
And then tried to. It was fucking hideous behavior and just stupid. Like, come on. Like, if you can't understand the trans movement, you're being a fucking moron.
Mm-hmm.
You're not allowing yourself to. Because the argument of, like, how is that even possible, being born in the wrong body, the wrong gender? It's like, how is it possible for someone to be born schizophrenic? How is it possible for someone to have multiple personality disorder? How is it possible for someone to be born a sociopath?
Mm-hmm.
How is it possible for someone to be born with Down syndrome?
None of these are chosen.
And I'm not comparing any of these to, being very clear about that. I'm not comparing transgender to these things.
You're calling it a handicap, clearly.
No, it's not what I'm doing.
No.
What I am doing is pointing out that through the birthing process, a mistake can be made, and someone can come out ill-fitted, which is what transgender is. You're a female born as a male, or a male born as a female. Something went wrong, and it needs to be corrected. It's not a big fucking deal. It's not even that weird when you think about it. So, yeah, what the TSA did in Orlando, they should be fucking ashamed. Like, that is just ridiculous. But, so I'm not defending anyone. I'm not saying Shady needs to fucking beef up. In this situation, no, it's all them.
That's a perfect example.
Yeah, it's all the people coming at her are fucking monsters. I'm saying, though, the kid who's kind of fat, who get, or the adult who's a bigger fucking person and is getting fat shamed or something. It's like, no, we need that's going to take the adult in this situation. Be like, hey, buddy, you are a little chubby, but who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
You're a human being, and it's who you are, and this is how you live your life. Fuck, don't even fucking listen to those assholes.
What about adults with braces, though?
I mean, come on, get your goddamn braces taken off. What are you, 12? No, I'm kidding. No, I mean, that's the thing. Like, you should also not pick on people.
Yeah.
That's just a rule of thumb. No one should be that insecure past the age of 15, or let's say 25, where you have to shit on people. Let that go.
Did you say that because that's when you stopped?
No, because that's when I realized at 15 everyone should still be very insecure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But 25 is roughly the all right, you should be enough of a human being at this point to not have to be an asshole to strangers.
Yeah.
Or to people different from you. And in fact, we should reverse the whole goddamn thing. Bully shaming. Why aren't we bully shaming?
I'm all for it.
Because I know people are like, no, you can't. No, yeah, you can fight fire with dynamite.
Yeah.
Put the goddamn fire out. Like, you should be allowed to just reverse it and just get back. Like, fuck you, bully. What's wrong with you? Why are you? Excuse me. And then they break down and we learn why they're a bully. And then we're the bullies. That's probably why we can't bully shame.
The person in my life when you say bully that I think of, once we were experimenting with drugs one evening.
Yeah.
And he out of nowhere punched me square in the balls and made everybody laugh.
That'll happen.
Yeah. I wish death on this guy after that happened. That's how fucking pissed I was. That was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Now he's like the greatest guy. We're Facebook friends, and he's like a deep thinker, loves his wife and daughter, and it's just like, is he the same guy?
Dude, there was a guy in high school who bullied me. He bullied everyone. He's a fucking piece of shit named Andy Volts. I don't give a fuck. That's his real name. Look him up. He was just a fucking all-around bully piece of shit. Tried to fuck me once, though. Tried to, like, in the college years of our life. I was in Hammond, Louisiana, Southeastern Louisiana University. A bunch of my friends went there. I was in Baton Rouge, half an hour away. A bunch of us go there to a party. Andy Volts is there. My ride leaves, whatever. I end up staying at his place. He's like, hey, you fucking crash with me, Patton. Fuck you. And then he makes me food. And then he keeps trying to get me to sleep in the bed with him. And I'm like, I'm going to sleep on your couch. And he's like, why do you want to sleep in the bed with me? What's wrong? And he comes out in his underwear.
What?
Because clearly he was a fucking closeted homosexual. And he beat up on people because we were different. We were, and then now we were 21 years old, and he's trying to get me to come drunkenly sleep in the bed with him. And then the next morning is fucking, get the fuck out of here, Pat. You still doing it here? I'm like, fuck you, dude. But he was just a total scumbag piece of shit. Picked on everyone, fucked with everyone, ball punching, nut slapping. A lot of aggression towards everyone around him's testicles.
Yeah.
A lot of humiliating, because he was a strong guy. A lot of, like, putting you in a chokehold at parties.
Oh, yeah, that's fun.
In front of people.
That's fun.
To the point where you're like, I'm going to pass, please. And be like, now kiss me on the cheek. Kiss me on the fucking cheek. And you're like, oh, God damn it. I can't breathe. And then he lets you go, and now you're just humiliated. And everyone's like, are you okay? But doesn't want to talk to you because you're the guy who just got made look like a fucking fool.
Right.
did that to me a lot.
What's up, chicken wing?
Yeah, just a fucking chicken wing, huh? That was your. That's
No, that fits for that, doesn't it?
Chicken wing. Oh,
Yeah.
chicken wing.
Yeah.
Ah, I see.
Uh-huh.
But I haven't looked this guy up. But the last time I saw him was over Mardi Gras, maybe 10 years ago, and his life didn't seem like it was going anywhere nice. So fuck that guy. I hope it's worse than when I fucking saw him. Because that's what happens to people like him. Which is why I think we need to take the individuals of life and just realize, like, anyone who is a pure piece of shit is because they are literally, like, that's not literally, they are figuratively.
There you go.
Let's use the right word there. They're figuratively pieces of shit. And their lives are never going to be better, and yours is, because the reason you're being fucked with is because you're different.
Yeah.
Because there's something to you. And that goes for, especially if you're an adult, you know? Because it's not working the other way, I don't think.
Not enough.
You know? But that being said, what got us off on this rant?
I don't remember, but I like
Me
it.
neither, yeah.
We've been doing it for almost an hour, so I don't know. I shouldn't take up too much more of your time. But before what?
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say you had a story about a bachelor party.
Oh yeah,
Let's squeeze that one in here.
In May, we went to my best friend's bachelor party in motherfucking Cuba, and we tricked him good. All right, there was 10 of us. Right, we work out this whole Cuba. We work it out, plan to go to Cuba. We went through Canada. This was in May. The embassy wasn't open yet, so it was still it was just a few months ago, but it was still sort of like, you can go, maybe, if you want.
Are there tourist brochures for Cuba?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
At the time, now I think they're starting to open up flights to Cuba. At the time, the only flight to Cuba in May was a chartered JetBlue flight out of New York. That was a chartered flight. So it was good for 10 people. It was going to be a fuck ton of money.
Yeah.
You could also go through Mexico. One of us went through Mexico and ultimately got ripped off by the ticket he bought online was an airline that didn't exist. And then he had to pay at the airport in Cancun. He had to buy another ticket to Cuba, which is a quick flight, but it was a lot of goddamn money.
Sure.
And then when he got that ticket, the plane was oversold. So he had to wait for the next flight, which is hours later. So it was a hassle for him to go through Mexico. We all went through Canada. Canadians have been going to Cuba forever. There was never an embargo with them. So they are tons of airlines and set up. And it was very easy. They were like, we don't care that you're Americans going to Cuba. We're going to get money.
Mm-hmm.
We'll set up we'll help everything. We'll be your travel agent. But to the bachelor, he didn't know. So we pulled the wool over his eyes. We had this long email chain going that all the people, the 9 of us in the party, discussing it. Then we started another one, and it was like and we accidentally looped in the bachelor. His name's Darius. We accidentally looped Darius in, and it was like, hey, sorry, we're starting another change just because the other one got a little bit cluttered. So anyway, for Toronto, it's gonna be fun. So we set up like we're going to Toronto for his bachelor party, because his uncle lives there, and he's like, Darius' uncle set up. We're gonna go to a Mets fucking Toronto Blue Jays game.
Yeah.
We're gonna hang out. We're gonna go see it. We're gonna go to the Niagara Falls. It's all this dumb shit. And then eventually Darius responded like, okay, well, I guess we're going to Toronto. That's cool. And then we all were like, oh no, who put Darius on here?
Right.
And then all made a point to look like anyway. But he didn't care. He wasn't like being shitty. He was just like, oh, cool, Toronto. So then he gets to Toronto, and we're like, fuck you, dude. We're getting on another flight. And we also packed you a separate luggage.
Oh, I was gonna ask, yeah.
Leave your luggage in this locker at the airport. We're going, fuck you, man. So completely tricked. Wool completely pulled over the eyes. He had no clue, and he was blown away. So we get to Cuba. It was fucking outrageous, man. Because here's a few things you got to understand about Cuba. The first night we spent at a resort in Varadaro, which is it's just a resort with other Canadians and Europeans and Cubans, and it was fun, but it's resort. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like all inclusive, so everything's in really small servings, and there's yoga and Rumba classes everywhere and Zumba. And then there's a beach, and the beach was nude. We didn't know that until we got to the beach. And we're like, oh, this is okay. Let's all act like we think this is. They all act like we're not affected by this. Just nude, beautiful, gorgeous Cuban fucking women.
Yeah.
Ugh. And beautiful European women everywhere. But then that was only one night. Then we go to Havana, and when we get to Havana, which is a 2-hour bus ride through like rural Cuba, which is insane to witness, because it's like, oh wow, this isn't America. This isn't gas stations. This is side of the road huts, and like you pull over and get a margarita or a pina colada or they don't actually have mojitos in Cuba. That's a total mojitos and Cuban sandwiches. That's Miami.
Okay.
It's from Cuba, but it's fucking that's not a thing in Cuba, you know? But it's like you pull over, there's like bars on side the road, but they're little huts, and you could buy a Che Guevara hat. But it's not like, you know what I'm saying? It's just not like the highways here you're so used to.
Uh-huh.
And that was the thing that got to me the most over 5 days in Cuba was not only do you not see any American franchises, you don't see any franchises because it's communist, right?
Sure, yeah.
So it's not capitalist, it's not about the money, you know? So they, and that fucked with me because a few days in, I think I experienced some anxiety that I think was based on like because you go to fucking Beijing right now, you're going to find a McDonald's. Sure. You know? And they're communist too, but differently, I guess. Or they just they didn't have the embargo.
Right.
You know? But there was like there's a dependency, I think, as an American I developed on just seeing a Starbucks, which I don't fucking care to go. Like when I'm in Amsterdam, I went into a McDonald's just to see if they really call it a Royale with cheese, which they don't, which was disappointing. Or maybe they changed it. When I was in Germany,
stop asking.
Yeah, when I was in Germany, I ate at a Burger King only because they have something called a breakfast burger. So it's a Whopper with then eggs, bacon, and cheese on top of the already made Whopper.
It was good, wasn't it?
It was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And I went into a Taco Bell in Belgium just to like see, like look at that. But I don't support these, you know.
I gotcha.
But as an American traveler, there's some level of comfort when you see a Starbucks. You're like, fuck it, I fucking hate Starbucks. You probably just want something to hate on.
Yeah.
And you know you can be like, God damn it, there's a fucking Starbucks in Luxembourg. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
But there's a comforting thing seeing it. And being in Cuba for 5 days and not seeing it all, there was a day where I was like, where am I?
Yeah.
It's like a feeling of like, oh, okay.
How about the cars on the road?
Yeah, they're all 50s, 60s.
That's got to be
they're all 50s,
bizarre.
60s, or like 80s Russian.
Oh,
like,
really?
Yeah, 80s like small Russian vehicles, you know? But this is the craziest part. So we take the 2-hour bus ride. We get to the hotel in Havana, and then Darius realizes, oh, shit, left my fucking passport in the safe in the hotel in Varadaro 2 hours away.
Uh-oh.
And we were like, you couldn't have left your passport in a worse goddamn country, you dumb shit.
Yeah.
You basically just left all of our passports because we traveled as a group, and if one of us isn't allowed back on the flight, none of us are allowed back on the flight. Fuck you. Thank God you speak Spanish. And this is what ended up happening. We called the resort from the hotel. They basically told us, "Oh yeah, we have it. Just come get it." And we were like, "Okay." And then we were talking to the concierge at the hotel, like, how much do you think it'll cost to get back to Varadaro? He's like, "Well, just don't. You guys don't have to go. Just ask one of the cab drivers to do it. Like they'll do it. Just give them some money. They'll do it." And we're like, "Okay." And then we met this dude Pepe, and we were like, "Hey, 200 euro? Because you can't use American cash in Cuba, and you can't use your American credit card. So you have to bring cat." We all brought euro and Canadian dollars.
Okay.
And their currency is 1-to-1 with ours.
Oh.
So it's not like when you go to Mexico and you're like, here's $100. Now give me my 5,000 fucking pesos.
Right.
To them, they're like, no, $1 for 1 peso.
Okay.
We're not poorer than you. We're just, we ration differently. And this dude went 2 hours later, 4 hours later, came back with it. No big deal. 200 euro. Bam. Got the passport back. And that's when we learned that Cuba is the safest fucking country on the planet.
Apparently.
There's no crime. Yes, you get hustled. Of course you get hustled, but it's never for anything crazy. You know, it's for 5 fucking euro here and there. You know, someone tells you why. You know, there's a guy who like selling beers outside a bar, right?
Yeah.
Like, don't buy the beers in there. I'll give you a beer for half price, and then you buy that beer, and then the bouncer doesn't let you back into the bar because you can't come back with that beer, but you also can't have that beer because you're on the bar premises. So you got to drink it and then pay a fine for having it.
Wow.
And then you realize, oh, you motherfuckers are in cahoots.
Uh-huh.
And I just got taken for $10. Fine, thank you.
That's the Cuban 3-card Monty.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're not going to get murdered or raped or mugged. But it's also because it's a society where they come down so hard on the criminals and they reward you for being a snitch.
Oh, okay.
So people are afraid, terrified. But there's healthcare there is excellent. That's the real reason America opened the borders up, is because Cuban doctors discovered a vaccine for lung cancer, or created one. So America wants first dibs on that. So there you go. Everyone's healthy as shit, beautiful teeth. No one's fat, but no one's malnourished.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's weird seeing communist society. It's very like, because everyone has exactly what they need, and there's that part of you that's like, wow, no one here is greedy or just about impressed with money. But then also they're very limited to the information they have access to.
Right,
so there's
right.
that's the downside. But
You wouldn't sell out many shows there.
no, we did see a comedian there though.
Really?
We did like go to this one bar and there's a fucking Cuban comedian making fun of Europeans, and it was really garbage. And he was like, "Ooh, I'm dressed like a woman. Ooh, look at me. I'm a man dressed like a woman. Isn't that funny?" He was saying it in Spanish. But so here's the other thing about Cuba. Because it's free healthcare, because everyone is healthy, because only Canadians and Europeans have been visiting there for the past 50 years who also have free healthcare. And because of the U.S. trade embargo, one of the things they didn't get in Cuba is STDs. Everyone is a prostitute. Every single human being on that fucking island is for sale to fuck.
Oh.
If you're a Game of Thrones fan, it's like the entire island works for Littlefield. Or Littlefinger.
Littlefinger.
The entire island works for Littlefinger. Anyone can be bought. And some of them are obvious about it.
Uh-huh.
You walk into any bar, there are obviously there's the harem of gorgeous women in tight dresses who come right up to you as soon as they hear your American accent and will offer you sexual favors.
Really?
And yeah.
Okay.
And they're everywhere. And even women who aren't, because there was one night a friend of ours, his name's Gabe. He probably doesn't want me telling his real name, so his name's George. He took this girl home. He just met this girl at a bar, and then he takes her back to the hotel where we all go hang out at the hotel bar afterwards, because Cuba's legit 24 hours. Like, you go into bars and you see the bartender sleeping, and you wake him up and they'll give you drinks. Like, seriously. And he brings this girl back, and they're hanging out, and she's like, she's just dressed in jeans and a T-shirt. Like, no way she's for sale, probably. But they go up to his room, and then he comes back there. He's like, "Hey, can I borrow 100 euro from anyone?" We're like, "What? Really?" And he's like, "Well, she made a good point. Like, we're never going to see each other again, and why not? Why don't I pay her for one night together?" And we were like, "Well, that is a good point. Right? They're not capitalists, but they are maybe a little bit."
Mm-hmm.
But so everyone except the Bachelor and I partook. Well, no, that's not true. 3 people partook in the sex, right? And one of them is a guy who has a very long-term girlfriend, right? And he was just being like, "I got to do this, right? I got to do this, right? Come on. Like, she'd understand, right? I'm in Cuba. These women are fucking gorgeous. Like, come on, whatever, come on." And I'm just being like, "Hey, man." And by the way, the night has gotten, it's like 3 a.m. All of our friends have gone back to the hotel. There's no cell phones for us in Cuba.
Okay.
So we're just like, we'll find our way home at some point. We both speak Spanish enough. Anyway, so he really wants to, this one girl in particular, he really wants to fuck. He's like, it's 100, she said it's like 150, and they'll give us a ride, because they will not come back to your hotel. Like, that one girl did it undercover, but the obvious one, they will not come back to your hotel.
So where do they take you?
They take you to basically a fuck pad.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to agree to go. And they all have a driver, not a pimp, just a guy. Makes sense. Just a guy who's a friend of theirs who's just around,
Uh-huh.
So this girl's fucking hot, and he's like, yeah, she says she have to go. She said it's a short ride. You have to come with me, man. I'm like, what the fuck? Come on. He's like, come on, seriously, please. I'm like, God damn it. All right, I'll go with you. So we go, and we just hop in this 58, Chevy Corsica, and there's this young dude driving, and we don't even talk to him.
Right.
And basically, I sit in the front seat, and he and her get in the back, and then we get, 10-minute drive, we get to this house, and he's like, his English is pretty good. He's like, do you want a girl? Do you want a girl? I'm like, no, man, I just want to hang out. And he's like, shit, I don't know if that's cool. Like, you might need to, I don't know if that's okay. And then we get out of the car, and they're walking up, and my friend's looking at me, and I'm like, I got to go with him, man. He's like, I don't know if that's cool, man. All right, well, go see. I don't know if that's going to be cool. And I get out, and we go, and the girl knocks on the door, and this old woman answers and sees us, and is like, come in. And then even to me, she's like, come in. I'm like, I guess it's cool. So we come into this house. It's a house. And they speak some Spanish, and I see the old woman go open this door, and there's a room, and she makes sure like the bed's made and everything, and she just makes sure everything's. She waves them in, and then they go in. She shuts the door, and then to me, she basically says to me like, "Are you gonna go next?" Because there wasn't any other girls, and I was like, "Are you waiting?" And I was like, "No, I'm just here with my friend. Support me, amigo, whatever." And she's like, "Oh, okay," and she makes like the. Are you thirsty?
You want something to drink? Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, yes, please. And she comes back with a Cristal. That's their beer.
Okay.
She comes back with a beer, and I was like, oh, thank you. And then she fucking goes away. And I'm sitting there for like 5 minutes, and then this dude who drove us comes in, who I didn't realize sitting next to him, but like when I saw him walk in, I was like, oh, this dude's like 15, tops. Like I didn't realize how young he was. And he goes, and he starts banging on the door that my friend and the girl are in.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there like in this dark living room with like a beer, like, wait, what the fuck? What? Oh shit. And he's banging on the door, and then she fucking opens the door, and they start yelling at each other in Spanish, and then she slams the door and then opens it again and gives him an MP3 player.
Okay.
That I guess she had in her purse or something, and he takes it and storms back out. And I was like, oh my God, that might be her little brother. And that older woman was probably her fucking mom. Right? Wow. Interesting. Okay? And I'm sitting there, and then 5 more minutes later, my friend comes storming out of the room. He's like, come on, man. Let's go. Come on. We have to go. Come on. And I was like, all right, bye. Fuck, bye. Bye. Okay. We leave. And then the kid's outside with the empty, and he's like, oh, hey. And he's like, just expecting to drive us back to the bar. And we get in the car. And we drive back, and he's like, what's the hotel? And we tell him the hotel, and my friend's just like freaking out. He's like, stop the car, man. Hey, stop. Tell the kid to stop. And I'm like, I'm not. My Spanish is worse than yours. But the kid, he speaks English, by the way. And he's like, he stops, and he's like, do you guys know where you're going? Because my friend wants to walk. And he's like, yeah. He's like, look, and he tells us, like, just 2 miles that way. You're fine. Just walk. It's along the seaboard. And it's as the sun is coming up, right? So it's beautiful.
Sounds nice. Yeah.
And we're walking, and my friend's just real quiet, and I could tell he's guilty as the fuck. And I'm like, look, man, and he's like, I can't believe what I just did, man. I've been with her for 4 goddamn years, and I just threw it all goddamn down the toilet. Oh, God, I can't believe what I just fucking did, man. I can't fucking believe it. And I'm like trying to like calm him down. I'm like, listen, like, it's okay. Like, look, man, did you use a condom? And he was like, no, we didn't fuck. I was like, wait, what do you mean? What? And he was like, look, I got naked, and then she was starting to undress, and I just couldn't do it. I was like, okay. And he's like, then I paid her, and we left. I was like, so you just paid a woman to get naked in front of, and then storm out of the room, and why are you freaking out? He's like, 'cause I did that. I was like, you didn't do anything. And he's like, I gotta fucking tell. And I'm like, you don't have to say anything. You don't have to say anything about this. Anything. And for the rest of the trip, the next 3 days, he was just this wreck.
Oh, no.
This destroyed human being who would go home early every night, and half the time wouldn't even come out with us. We still had an amazing time.
Yeah.
Like, one night we met the cigar czar of the former cigar czar of Cuba. The tobacco czar.
Mm-hmm.
And he took us to his private, just randomly met him at this hotel bar. He took us to his private humidor, and we'd been smoking these cohibas we got the first night, and he took one of them, and he's like, oh, man, this is Honduran. Like, you guys have been smoking fake Cubans, even in Cuba.
No.
Let me hook you up. And
Wow.
then he gave us all a Monte Cristo for like an actual, for free.
Uh-huh.
Didn't charge us. And that was when it was like, oh, that's a Cuban cigar. That's a fucking Cuban cigar. I get it now. But the guy in question, his name was Ryan. I shouldn't say his real name, but his name was Ryan. When we're flying back, he's like, oh, I'm going to tell her. And when we all got back to the States, respectively, like he went back to where he lives in Texas, and he's like, I'm going to tell her. And I texted him like, oh, dude, you really don't fucking do it.
Yeah.
Seriously. And he texted me back like, got to. And then he just wasn't at the wedding. No one heard, no one knew shit. Darius and I talked about it. We're like, I guess he told her? I don't know. And he just wasn't there. Right?
Uh-huh.
So it was one of those crazy fucking things of like, this dude totally just
Holy shit.
and his real name's not Ryan. His actual name's Greg. I don't know, I feel like calling him out. I tried to give him a fake name. There was another guy named Ryan on the bachelor party who didn't actually, who slept with no prostitutes, but did do something awesome. He makes a lot of money, so he brought like 5,000 euro to Cuba, and we ended up calling him the Iron Bank. Because we all ran out of money, and we're like, can we borrow more money? And then we blew all of his money.
Yeah.
We blew all of his fucking money on drinks and food, and it was crazy. But the craziest thing, getting back into the States, I got separated from everyone else because I was flying a different airline from Toronto back in.
Okay.
So we all kind of was like, what are we going to say at the border kind of thing? Turns out everyone said the truth, and nothing went wrong, except me.
Oh, what?
I was the only one who intended to lie because I initially, when I had my little document form, I wrote Cuba. I was like, I'm not fucking lying. And then as I'm in line, what countries visit? Cuba. Fuck it. And then as I'm in line, I just start getting paranoid and thinking about, I'm like, it's going to be me and Edward Snowden shacked down somewhere in the Ukraine. Uh-huh. Fuck. So right there in line, I wrote Canada because I had Cuba, but you just put the U, that easily turns into an A.
I thought you were going to switch it to scuba diving.
No, a Cuba. So C-U, turn that into an A, really
yeah.
easy. B, just wrote a hard N over that.
Very
and
hard.
I even fake stumbled in case there were cameras.
When you were writing?
When I was writing the N.
Come on.
Right? And then now there's another A. And then you just add a DA, and now it's Canada.
Right there.
But the funny thing was, as soon as that's the thing you forget is American customs. When you go through American customs, any customs, just have fucking bravado. Mm-hmm. Just act like you've already been in the country. Go in hard. And I forgot about that fact. I was just like, hey, all right. And they were just like, what were you doing? And I was like, I was at a bachelor party. And they're like, okay. And you're back in. Mm-hmm. I was like, whew. Everyone else, though, just was like, fuck it. We're in Cuba. Even the guy, one of our friends bought a couple of Monte Cristos.
And brought them back?
And told him. Was like, yeah, I've got these. And they were like, oh, okay, you got to pay a small fine. But now he's got like 50 Monte Cristos.
Nice.
But, yeah, our friend Greg, we don't know. None of us have really talked to him.
Really?
Yeah, we don't know what the fuck happened. But him and his girlfriend in Houston, Texas, hope they're still together. Because he couldn't. He felt so guilty to pay a woman to get naked in front of and then realize that he loved his girlfriend.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. We got to wrap this up. I've taken up a lot of your time, but I do want to. Let's say you're in a serious relationship like he was, and you get to that point.
What?
Just go back to think like any gal you've had a close relationship with. Can you picture some that would have taken that well?
Wait, say that again?
Have you ever been in a relationship where if you did something like that, like, all right, hey, I had intentions to, and I didn't. Do you know a woman that would take that, like, oh, you do love me?
Dude, you know what? Here's the thing. And I've talked to other women about this. A situation like that specifically, I just don't think there's any reason to talk about it. I'm going to say why. Because women do the same shit. Like, that's a thing that, like, part of, I guess, just male stereotype, being able to be more honest and not be more honest, but be more open about that kind of shit. And men are pigs. Women are fucking pigs too. And that's the thing. Like, maybe not every relationship, but like every like sexual thought you've had, or any time like you've had these things where like about another woman, or there's times where like you've maybe hung out at a bar for 3 more drinks, with a girl you kind of knew and flirted your ass off and went to the bathroom and had that thought of like, am I gonna? No, I'm not. I love this person. And then you left. She's done it too.
Yeah.
Your girlfriend has done it as well. It's human nature, and you just got to accept it. So shit like that, no. You don't talk about it. You don't bring it up. You let it go. You just accept that it happened on that end too. And also to me, like if I knew my girlfriend had an experience like that where she like maybe even went so far as like get a ride from a guy and thought about inviting him up and then didn't last minute because she was like, no, what am I doing? And then it was because fucking great. Yeah, of course it stings initially, but then it's like, no, that's actually cool.
Yeah.
That your feelings for me outweigh your basic human desire that you can't control. You can't control that shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, you make the choice whether to do it or not, but no one can control the desire. And, that's all you can really hope for is that you and your lover both are able to overcome the desire for the rest of your life and redirect it towards each other. There you go.
What was the most someone was charging for a night of sex or 5 minutes of sex or whatever it was?
That I don't. I think it was
No one compared prices?
No, actually. No one, because they didn't want to talk about it. But the most I I know probably American prostitutes charge way more than any other country. Like, I remember I had a friend, we were in Tampa, in Fort Lauderdale at the Hard Rock Casino,
mm-hmm.
and I was doing sets, and this kid was opening for me. I say kid, he's actually older than me, but and he paid $800 for one night with this relatively attractive girl, but $800.
Yikes.
$800 fucking dollars. And to my knowledge, that club only paid $600 to feature. So, like, yeah, there you go.
What's better, 1-800 or 8-100s?
Exactly. Shit, that's it. That's for Mr. George Carlin to answer.
There you go. Sean, it's been great, man.
Thank you, bud.
People can find you on Twitter.
Mm-hmm. My website, my Twitter's at Mr. Sean Patton.
Yep.
Twitter is, that's Twitter. My website is SeanOliverPatton.com.
Do you do Instagram?
Yeah, I do. I'm not on that as much as I should be because I take pictures mentally and then write about them, and forget that I can also just take pictures, then put them up, and then write about them.
Yeah, there you go.
But I am on there. It's the same as my Twitter handle, Mr. Sean Patton.
There you go. Thank you.
Thank you. We did it.
Boom.
Bam.